I chatted with Izzy B. Phillips from Black Honey ahead of the release of their second album, written and directed, which comes out on the 29th of January next year. Thank you for taking your time to be interviewed by Redbrick, and congratulations on completing written and directed. So you described your most recent single, Run for Cover, as Hives meets John Travolta. So is that like mix of influences something we can expect on the album as a whole, or?
I think that one's more specifically Run for Cover. The rest of the record is like pretty all over the place in terms of like emotions and artistic kind of narratives, and I kind of wanted to honor my mental state, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm the sort of person that is like, one day I'm feeling like White Stripesy, Hivesy, like homage, and then the next day I feel like I want to be Lou Reed and strut down the street in New York, and those are all things that are part of me and part of how we made Black Honey.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So obviously those are some of your inspirations. I also love the inspirations of your music videos. So very movie inspired. So when you were filming the music videos for Beaches and Run for Cover, how did the creative process differ, obviously given the current restrictions? Was it more difficult for you?
So we did Beaches completely in quarantine. So that was like, we had this whole thing where we were supposed to go and shoot in Ibiza in this like motel. That got completely scarpered. So we thought that a fun kind of creative reaction would be to do a video filmed at home but shot on all like social media filters. And that worked really well. Like it took ages to do, and like I have like a new respect for people that self-direct and shoot, because just setting up a selfie stick in a windy garden with a windy backdrop, and then after you've spent like 2 hours doing all of your own hair and makeup, just takes a whole day just to do one character each for me. And then editing it, like I edited like half the movie myself on iMovie, and then realized like I couldn't get the beats to line up as tightly as I wanted to. So then I decided to do the whole thing on Premiere Pro halfway through. So it took ages, but it was a really fun process, and I think I learned a lot in doing it, and I think it kept me busy during the quarantine, which is cool. And then I guess Run for Cover was more like going back to our usual methods of like cool location, like cute like narrative, but we definitely wanted to do a live performance video, and that was always in the pipes before even the quarantine. But it just meant that when we were on the shoot on the day, we had to have like masks on, and we had to be like socially distanced, and we only had like I think we had like 7 people in total on set.
Thank you very much. And so moving on from the Beaches, obviously you did your original version, and then you did a fan version of a Beaches video. So I can see, based on that, and obviously you did your Instagram live the other day, like fan participation is quite a big thing. So why is it quite important for you?
I think that because like I think artists aren't anything without the people that listen to their music. I mean, that's like the obvious kind of answer to that question. But for me personally, I feel really lucky to be able to do what I do with my friends and stuff. And I feel I don't want anyone to feel like they're alone. Like if someone relates to our music, I want them to feel like they are like part of it too, that they're part of the process.
Yeah, no, definitely. So you talking about that, the obviously seeing you at gigs and things. You recently played Signature Brew at Signature Brew to celebrate DIY magazine's 100th issue. How did it compare to you to maybe slightly bigger or gigs that you were used to playing?
So I was really nervous about that, to be honest. Like I thought, is it going to be like really dry? You have these like really traumatic memories of when we were like starting out and playing to like 2 people in a pub and like no one caring, and that was a real thing for like ages. So I was worried that when we did this gig that it would be the same, but it actually turned out that the fans that came like loved it. They sang along, and it just really like it taught me a lot about who comes to the shows is more important than how many people or how densely packed it is.
So how do you feel about the prospect of touring for an album, given like the uncertainties that you might have to, if you were to be touring, you know, call a show off at any given moment because of the guidelines and things?
Well, it's pretty nerve-wracking, isn't it, to be honest? Like, can't really feel comfortable announcing anything yet, even though we've got a pencil tour that we're not allowed to announce, because it's like, I don't want to like let people down. And so that's pretty tough. And then it's like, even if that tour does happen, we're going to clash with like all of the other bands that tour anyway. So I don't know if that's like a smart move or what, but we basically have developed our own like backup plan, which is going to involve like an adaptation of in-store touring. And then we're also looking at doing something else visually that's going to be like another level.
Okay, yeah, no, that's really interesting. Yeah, thank you for that. So I actually saw you last year when you played at Shimmer Sounds in Birmingham. And what I really liked about that was how you were, so maybe artists that would have been slightly lower down, kind of in a lineup, were like interspersed throughout the day. So how do you feel that like the current situation might affect newer bands that are sort of coming through?
God, it's so hard for them. Like, coming through as a new band, like in indie music in itself, is like so hard. But like doing it when you're doing it amongst a pandemic with no touring, and if you've worked all this time to like develop a decent live show, it like sucks hard. But I guess nothing can stop people from writing. Like, the pandemic can stop you from seeing people, but it can't stop you from being creative, and like that's where your power is. So I'd say like think about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just about the small venues, do you have a favourite small venue that you've ever played at? Or
Yeah, I think my favourite small venue is the Lexington today. I mean, I got to change my mood depending on the what day of the week it is, but I love the Lexington, yeah.
Yeah. What is it, anything specific about that, why you love it so much? Or?
I like the fact that it's like a pub downstairs and it's always really busy, and the bands that play there are always really good, and like I know like my sound engineer's there like day to day, so he always like lets come and stand on the mixing desk and like watch all the bands. I love like the atmosphere of that area of London, and so it's like, it's a small venue but it's quite big for a small venue, so it always feels really exciting.
If you could open a show for any music artist, who would you open for?
I would open for, you know, that like tour that like was like Kali Uchis, Courtney Love and Lana Del Rey. Like, I would join that, but also my dream is to support Blondie.
Okay, yeah, no, I am behind you on that one. I love Blondie. So yeah, so that's great. So your Instagram account, when you sort of started the promotion for this next album, you burnt a vinyl copy of obviously your first album. So does that for you symbolise a big change in direction musically, or?
It just symbolises like setting fire to the past to ignite your future for me. I think it's like, I still love what we did for album 1, but it's time for the next season of what we're doing, and I'm so proud of what we've made.
No, I'm excited to see it. So just to finish off, so I see you mentioned before you waited like 4 years to release your debut album. So why does now feel like the right time to release album 2?
Well, I wanted to put this record out like straight away. We'd actually written like most of this record before album 1 like had like finished its cycle. So it felt like I was like hungry, and we got in the studio in October last year, and that it's been like a waiting game for me since then. Like, I've literally been twiddling my thumbs. I'm like the least patient person ever. So yeah, that was hard, but so I would love to have done it sooner, but just shit happens, and the pandemic happened, so whatever.
No, well that's great. Thank you very much for that. So if we finish it there, I just want to say, is there anything else you wanted to say before we finished? Or?
Yeah, we've got a new single that drops on October the 28th called I Like the Way You Die, and we've shot a Halloween themed music video with some vampires in.
I saw that you previewed that on your Instagram live, so I'm sure, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one, definitely. I'm sure a lot of people will be as well. So thank you very much for taking
Thank you so much for having me. Sorry I was late, by the way.
No worries at all. Okay, thank you very much. I'll let you go. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.